If you're looking for a luxury car, the default choice is the E-Class. That car. And no, that's not the S-Class, even though it looks like an S-Class. This is the new E-Class, which is the mini S-Class in terms of the comfort, in terms of the length, and in terms of the features. This is the long wheelbase car, and the interior space, especially at the back, is fantastic. It is obviously the default choice, but now there is a new rival. And today, we're going to call it using the key. This is the new BMW 5 Series, and it's got these cool little tricks, like summoning the car by using the key. We start the engine. It's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Okay. Isn't this the coolest trick in the book? I don't know how many times you're ever going to use this, but just having a feature like this is incredible. You're going to get a crowd of around 1,000 people just to watch you play around with your car. Obviously, most people in this category are going to have a driver. They're not going to really summon the car themselves. But if you're looking for a car with gadgets, this is the car for you. Just like the E-Class is a mini S-Class, the new 5 Series is a mini 7 Series, and it gets all these cool gadgets that have come down from the 7 Series. The coolest of which is gesture control. So now my phone is pairing via Bluetooth, and then once it starts playing, just twirl your finger and you can adjust volume. It's such a cool feature. Use a 2-finger salute and you can switch tracks. When you get calls, use your finger and you can answer calls. You swipe left and you can cancel calls. It's such a cool feature really to have in the car. Again, limited use, but as a party trick, it's fantastic. And then you turn down the volume, you put in the drive, and then you hit the road, because the 5 Series is an absolute blast to drive. BMWs have always been great cars to drive, and the 5 Series is no exception. But before we talk about how it goes down corners, I must talk about how it goes over bumps and ruts and potholes, because this 5 Series is nothing like the earlier 5 Series that we've experienced. The ride quality has become so much better. It is nearly as good as the E-Class, and that is saying something, because the E-Class has always set the benchmark in this segment. This ride quality is really good. It's the monsoons, potholes are everywhere, the roads are broken, but there is no jerks, there's no jolts, and it is not at the expense of handling, because this 5 Series can still go around corners very well. The steering, I feel, has become a bit too light now, so we stick it in sport mode. So now that stiffens up the suspension, quickens the gearbox, makes the steering a little more heavy, also sharpens the engine responses. And this inline straight 6 3-liter engine, wow, it really goes. The whole car feels more agile, feels more urgent, and you really enjoy driving this car. Also, the car is focused towards the driver. So this center console, it is slightly canted towards the driver. The steering wheel in this MSport edition is massively thick. When you stick it in sport mode, the dials glow red. It's got these M badges that urge you on. And then you see a set of twisties and you really want to go for it. It's great fun. You can even switch off traction control completely, ESP completely, get it a bit sideways. There is a lot of torque. 620 Newton meters. There's 10 more horsepower than the E-Class. It's nearly a second quicker to 100, 250 kilometers per hour, the limited top speed of both the cars. Just like the party trick of the 5 Series is gesture control, this is the party trick of the E-Class. Okay, you don't get a man free, but invariably you'll find somebody lounging in the back of the E-Class because the space is phenomenal. What's your Nindo?
I have to agree, Sirish. I had dozed off and I don't even know when. This place is fantastic. I'm 6 feet tall. I don't feel like I'm cramped by even a pixel. The headrests are like down-filled cushions. This is fantastic. I've just reclined the seat and I just dozed off.
It is almost like an S-Class, isn't it?
It is like an S-Class.
And even the way the interiors are laid out, it is so airy, it's so roomy. The design has been inspired from the S-Class. It's got this large display screen, 2 sunroofs, it's got this phenomenal Burmester stereo. In terms of comfort, this really is the business. And that's not to say that this is not good to drive. It is actually good to drive. So what say we go for a drive?
Absolutely.
The first thing you notice when you get going in the E-Class is the plushness of the ride quality. Now, of course, you expect all E-Classes to be luxurious to be driven around in, but this car, like all new Mercs, are running run-flat tires. But that is not at the expense of ride quality. It just shows how much tire technology has progressed and also how much the suspension engineers are working the magic on the car. Now, this is the long wheelbase car, but it does not feel ponderous. It's not like the back end is in one city, the front end is in another city, and the two are not talking to each other. It's quite tight. The body control, it's well controlled, it's well within limits, and it's not like a big, large limousine to drive on these tight, winding roads. It's actually good fun to drive, and I hope my passenger is not feeling sick now.
Not at all. In fact, I'm quite comfortable. What is surprising is how limited body roll is in this car, even though it's fairly long. And the seats are very well bolstered, so I'm not being thrown around, and there's this sense of security overall.
The engine also, it's a V6 3-litre engine, makes 250 horsepower, 620 Newton meters of torque. It's got a fair amount of punch. It's so refined, so smooth, and the torque of the V6, it makes the E-Class effortless to drive. Effortless to drive, effortless to be driven around in.
Absolutely, total win-win situation for me.
Comparers like these have to have a winner, but fact is these two cars are now so distinctly different, it is impossible to have a winner. If you're looking for a car majorly for comfort, majorly to be driven around in, and for space obviously, it has to be the E-Class. And if you're looking for a luxury car that you'll enjoy driving, a dynamic car, it has to be the 5 Series. These two cars showcase just how much these manufacturers have come forward from their earlier generation cars. The new E-Class is a huge step up from the earlier, and same with the 5 Series. The 5 Series is a mini 7 Series. Both these are fantastic cars, you cannot go wrong with it. But bottom line is, for luxury, it is the E-Class, and for fun to drive, it is the 5 Series.